Hey guys, it's Craig, and today I'm going to be talking about my 5 pieces of backpacking gear that I just won't leave home without. So to start off this video, I just want to talk about a little bit about the gear that I'll be sharing. It's not going to be like any of my big 3. It's not going to be my pack. It's not going to be my sleep system. And it's not going to be my shelter. It's going to be like a bit smaller pieces of gear that I don't really normally hear people talk about that much within the hiking community. I do hear people talk about them, and that's actually how I got to learn about a lot of these pieces of gear, was through my time in the hiking community, specifically through my time hiking the Pacific Crest Trail back in 2022, where I learned a lot about gear, where I learned about smaller pieces of gear and like different things that it can do for you. So yeah, to start off this list, I want to first talk about my Gators. I use Topo Designs specific Gators because I do use Topo's shoes as my primary hiking shoe. Specifically, I use the Topo Pursuits. When I hiked the PCT, I used Ultras, but I just kind of fell out of love with them because their quality was just really going down. And I used to use Dirty Girl Gators quite a bit when I was hiking. But when I switched to Topos, I had to switch over to these Gators because with the Dirty Girl Gators, they needed like a Velcro attachment, and the Topos just weren't conducive to that. So I decided to pick these up, and I have really been liking them. The main reason I like to use Gators is mainly like blister prevention. When you're hiking, especially in like sandy environments, like a lot of pebbles or like sticks, things can get in your shoes and it can just get really uncomfortable. And I really don't like getting blisters. I'm not one to normally get blisters, but I try and do everything I can to avoid them because they can get really painful, they can get infected, they can pop, and they're just not fun. And so when things get in your shoes, they can just kind of, rub around on your heel, on your toes, in between your toes. And that's just a great way to get a blister, and nobody likes blisters, especially me. I hate blisters. I just hate popping them. I just don't like them. I don't like blisters. So that's why I love Gators, because they keep things out of my shoes. I don't have to be dumping a bunch of sand or sticks out of my shoes at the end of the day. And they just keep my feet happy. And ultimately on long through hikes, on weekend backpacking trips, on day hikes, your feet are like the most important resource. You got to keep them healthy, you got to keep them happy, and that's why I like Gators so much, because they keep my feet healthy, they keep my feet happy, and they keep me moving. Feet take care of me, they get me from point A to point B, so I'm going to take care of them. The second piece of gear that I haven't really heard a lot of people talk about, but I have found to be incredibly helpful, keeping me efficient on the trail, just keeping things moving, keeping things going, is this little guy right here. If you guys can see that, but this is a little like water coupler that I use with my Sawyer squeeze. Before I picked up my Sawyer squeeze, I just took this off. I just had the white cap on here that normally comes with it, but then I saw someone on the PCT kind of like use it as a gravity hang system, and I was like, what the heck, like that seems awesome, like I want to give that a try. So I picked this up probably in Bishop, California somewhere. It was really cheap, and the way I use it, the way I really like it, is it just screws on to my water filter just like that on top, and then I use a 2-liter just like water bladder, and then you gotta imagine you have like dirty water in here. I just screw that on right there, and then if I had a smart water bottle, I could just attach my smart water bottle, because the threads are conducive right there. And this bag has like a little hanging thing. I just hang this on a tree just like that, and it just makes its own like gravity water filtration system. And the reason I like this so much is because I really don't like filtering water. It can take a lot of time. It can be just kind of intensive. Your filter can get all backlogged, and it just can be a pain sometimes filtering water at the end of a long day. The last thing I want to do is filter a bunch of water. Also, my hands get really cold, and especially in the mornings if I need to filter water. This is really nice because it's just like hands-free filtering essentially. And if I get to camp at the end of the day, I can just go quickly get some water, attach this system, get it hanging in a tree, get water filtering while I'm setting up my tent, my quilt, my sleeping pad, anything else that I need, just getting it all set up while this is filtering my water. So I love it because it just makes me more efficient. I can be doing other things while water is filtering, and it's just really nice to have. It just makes things go smoothly. Like while I'm at lunch on the trail, if I don't want to filter water, I just go scoop up some water, attach this, it filters while I'm eating, and that's just really nice. I can be eating lunch while my water is filtering, and I don't have to like take a bunch of time. My third piece of gear is something that I picked up in Julian, California, around mile 70 on the Pacific Crest Trail back in 2022. Something that I kind of thought was a little bit childish, a little bit funny. I didn't really understand why people use them all the time, but then when I started hiking and backpacking more, I figured it out, and that is a Fanny Pack. This is my light AF Cuban fiber Dyneema Fanny Pack, and this thing has been absolutely amazing. I love this thing. I will not go backpacking without it. I use it for several different things. Mainly it's really nice because I can just put my phone right in here in this pocket and just have it, you know, right on my waist. That's my chest, but like, you know, right on my waist, and I can just have my phone right there ready to just take it out, take a photo, to take a video, to really to look at navigation. It's just boom, right there, easy access. I don't have to go digging for it. Other things I like to use it for is I just keep a bunch of like things that I might need throughout the day. I hate getting bit by bugs, so just having some bug spray in there. I like to keep my headlamp in there just for easy access if I'm doing any night hiking, or if I'm at camp at night. I just always know where my headlamp is. It's not something I really want to misplace. I keep a little stick of sunscreen in there, just, you know, things I would need throughout the day. My chapstick I just keep in there, just really easy access, and my little Swiss Army knife I keep in there as well. Just like those small little miscellaneous things that might get easily misplaced, or things you don't want to dig around for. And then also what's great about it is I get to keep extra snacks in there. If I get really hungry throughout the day and for some reason all the other pockets in my backpack are full and there's no room for snacks, I got plenty of room for snacks in this bad boy right here. The fourth piece of gear that I want to talk about today is something that I didn't pick up again until my Pacific Crest Trail thru hike. I always just thought, why would anyone have these? Like, what's the point? They're too much of a luxury item. Like, there's no point. But I caved quickly, and what I bought is a Sea to Summit Aeros ultralight inflatable pillow, and this thing has been great. I use this all the time on my thru hikes, on weekend backpacking trips. I might even use it at home sometimes. The reason I like this so much is because it's super easy to inflate. It gives me a better night's sleep, which is really, really important to me. Someone once told me that you can do almost anything that you need to on a good night's sleep, and this just really does that. This really promotes a really good night's sleep for me. It supports my neck, and overall it just makes my experience more enjoyable, because you don't have to go out into the backcountry and be uncomfortable. You can get things like this that might make your life a little bit nicer. I know a lot of people will just use like a stuffed sack and put in like extra clothing, whether that be like a down quilt, pants, extra socks, whatever it might be. I did that for years and it was fine, but I often found that I got really flat during the night, or things would move around and I wake up with my neck hurting and the back of my head hurting, and I haven't had that problem with this. And Sea to Summit has a really good guarantee. I had a couple of these pop on me and they just sent me replacements for free. I just had to send in some photos and a description of what happened. Then they just sent me a replacement. So yeah, and it's just really easy. You just open this all the way to deflate it, and then if you want to inflate it, it has another just little valve right there, and it takes like 3-4 breaths maybe to fill it up, and I really like it. And when it's fully deflated, which it's not right now, let's see if I can get it, it just folds up like really nice and small, and I normally just put this in the foot box of my quilt, and it's just there when I need it. So yeah, that is my Sea to Summit ultralight inflatable pillow. Seriously recommend picking one of these up or something similar. And my fifth piece of gear, last but definitely not least, is something that I actually have seen a lot of people use online and in the hiking community, and I've been convincing a lot of people in my life to just pick one up, because I'm going to be using this until I just can't use it anymore, until it's just destroyed. And that is my Gossamer Gear 8-inch rollable, I think it's rollable, thin light pad. I get a ton of uses out of this, just a ton. I can't stress enough that this thing is just absolutely essential to my kit. One of the main things I use this for is, since I use a frameless roll top backpack, it clearly doesn't have a frame. This gives it some structure. I can just slide it down the back of my backpack, and then that gives it some rigidity and some structure, and that just it just fills up all that dead space kind of in my backpack. I also use this as a sit pad. If it is wet out, or if it's snowing, or the ground is just gross, or I just don't want my butt to be on the dirt, then I can just fold this up just like that, just slide it underneath me, sit down, and it keeps my butt warm, keeps me comfortable. And then at the end of the day, I usually like to stretch, especially after a long day of hiking or whatever it might be. I like to stretch, and this is really nice because I can take off my shoes, and then I'm not stepping on sticks and stones or like pine needles or pine cones. I can fold this out just all the way. You know, I'm not going to do it here, but I can fold that out all the way, and I can just do some stretching on this, and it's really, really nice for that. And then the other thing that I use it for is, since I use an inflatable sleeping pad, I'm really paranoid about them popping. I really don't like buying new gear if I don't have to, so I try and like really preserve my gear as much as I can. And this I will slide underneath my inflatable sleeping pad, and just gives it a little bit extra protection, you know, from pokey things like pine needles or sticks just, you know, poking through the bottom and popping my sleeping pad, because that's happened to me before, and it sucks. It's not fun. I don't like it. I don't like waking up on the cold hard ground. It's just not something I enjoy doing. And then also my sleeping pad is just doesn't provide a ton of warmth, because it's definitely meant for the summer, and this just adds a little bit extra warmth, a little bit extra insulation from the ground, and I just find it to be a really good all-purpose piece of gear, and I have really, really enjoyed it. I'm going to continue to use it. It definitely has seen some things, and yeah, I absolutely love this thing, and I definitely recommend picking one up or something similar. So yeah, guys, that is my 5 pieces of backpacking gear that I just find to be really helpful. They keep me efficient on the trail, they keep me healthy, and they just, like, you know, they keep me happy, and they keep me doing what I love to do. And it's just really, really nice pieces of gear to have. Yeah, if you guys liked this video, if you liked what you saw, if you want to see more, if you have any suggestions for me, I'm pretty new at this. Haven't been doing this for very long. I'm trying to be more consistent about it. So if you have any suggestions for me, any gear you would like me to talk about, any tips, tricks, suggestions that you guys have for me, I would love to hear it. I would also love to know what kind of gear you guys all love to use. What are pieces of gear that you find super valuable and super helpful for you that not a lot of people talk about or know about? I would love to know about it. Leave me a comment, leave me a like and subscribe. I've been told that really helps on these things, on these types of videos. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it, and I will see you guys later.